Good morning, good evening, whatever it is, wherever you are, YouTube. So the other day, or probably a couple of weeks ago by the time this video is uploaded, woke up to the news that once again the old terrorists have been up to their usual tricks, and turns out this time it was in Barcelona, where someone had driven a van down Las Ramblas, which is a popular district in Barcelona, and killed a few people. And it's absolutely horrible. It's a continuing situation, and there seems to be no answer to it. But I was sitting there thinking, everyone initially, the first reaction is shock, then anger, and it's a senseless waste of life. And I can't understand what these terrorists are trying to achieve. No one's going to say, do you know what, there's too many terrorists, I'm going to suddenly convert religions. That's not going to happen. They are making life harder for their own people of their own faith, because now the average law-abiding Muslim gets viewed with suspicion. I guarantee the first thing that every normal law-abiding Muslim in the UK or anywhere in Europe said as soon as they heard that news was, oh no, not again, because they know they are going to be viewed with suspicion. It makes their life harder, it makes their life unnecessarily awkward, and it just achieves absolutely nothing. It's not going to work, so I don't know why they keep doing it. But it made me think also of the way that people say that, oh, so many people sympathise with terrorists, and these people sympathise with that. And there's a big difference between sympathising with someone and agreeing with them, a massive difference. If someone now went out and attacked a local mosque, I would understand why they did it. I understand why they feel the way they do. I understand why they're angry. So in that respect, I sympathise with them because I understand why they're angry. Do I condone their actions? Absolutely no. Do I support their actions? Not in a million years. But it's that funny word, sympathise. And recently the Daily Mail, which is a well-known gutter rag here, it's famous for printing half-truths and very carefully wording things to get away with being able to print them. Of course, the press is accountable for its words. It is able to print them because it sort of sidesteps the truth. Now, if you're reading the Daily Mail, what you're looking at is not accurate. There is little to no truth in what they're saying, but the way they say it enables them to get away with it. It's just a ruse to sell newspapers. But a little while ago they ran a study, and they said that about 40% or 30% of Muslims in the UK sympathise with IS. And what they get, firstly, there's that word sympathise. Now I can kind of understand why, if a country's been invaded, torn by war, there are all sorts of factors there going on that could lead people to feel their way of life is under attack. Of course, the thing with religion, no matter what religion, we're talking about people's beliefs that I hold to the absolute very core. And they will defend those beliefs to the very core, and they're of course convinced they're right. So they feel they're under attack, and there's a global move to eradicate them, and they're responding in what they think is as kind. But when they did this survey to find that 40 or 30% or whatever the number was of Muslims feel that they're sympathising with IS, they took a tiny study group from an area that's known for radicalisation, and also they changed some of the wording so that instead of sympathising with, it became support IS. Of course, they don't support them. I wouldn't support anyone that went out and attacked a mosque. I understand the reasons for doing it, or to a degree sympathise with their reasons for doing it. I don't agree with them, and I don't think they should do it. In fact, I vehemently oppose them doing it. But yeah, so basically what they did was commission this study, twist its words around, and then use it to create scandal and further division, because they know it feeds into their right-wing supporters. So that's the situation. But the question is, what do we do? How do we get around it? Fortunately, it appears that we made good progress on getting over high-tech terrorism. A few years ago, especially when the London Olympics were being staged, I was involved with a company that supplied a lot of a lot of equipment to the Olympics, and we were quite heavily briefed, and the whole company was quite heavily briefed on what risks were there and things like that. And of course they were talking at the time about things like dirty bombs and things like that, and spreading bacteria and viruses and chemical warfare and germ warfare and all that sort of stuff, and biological attacks. Actually things have gone backwards. I say fortunately in the wrong sense of the word, but fortunately things have gone backwards from that, because now they're not looking at biological attacks and nuclear, dirty bombs and things like that. We have got to the point where that's the network to organise that is rumbled before it happens, which is great. The intelligence services, police forces do an amazing job at keeping us safe through that. But what we've now got is, because it's the only way they can do it, are these lone wolf vehicle attacks, and that's going to be a much harder one to crack, because there is no organisation. You can't tell if a 13 or 20-year-old guy sat alone at home is thinking, I'm going to get these white gits, I'm going to get these Westerners, I'm going to get these people, brewing and stewing in their own hate, and then being radicalised further, goes out, hires or buys a vehicle, because you can go and buy a running van for £300. That's good enough to plough through a line of people in a shopping centre. And there really doesn't seem to be an answer to it. Because if you say, well, we'll shut down every single mosque in the UK, we'll shut down every single mosque in Europe, that's not going to stop it, because people that are radicalised and are moving towards that sort of thing, A, will feel more justification for their actions, and secondly, will just be in someone's living room. The building's irrelevant. The building's utterly irrelevant. In fact, there is an argument, I don't know if it's effective or not, but there is an argument that says if you've got someone you want, what better to do than know where they are and keep an eye on them where you can monitor them. If you push them underground or overseas, they can be plotting you won't know a thing about until your strike happens. So there is a line of thought that says yes, we shouldn't have to look after these people, they should be deported, and I do agree and sympathise with that theory, but then I also agree with the thought that while they're detained in prison, if they are really a threat, we can monitor them more closely. I don't think it's something that's going to be easily won, and I don't know where it's going to go. But at the moment, fortunately, when these attacks happen, because of their very, very basic nature, they are a handful of people each time. They are, tragically there is deaths, which is always bad. But it's 10 or 12 people or 1 or 2 people. I think the worst one we've had recently was the Manchester attack with 22 people, and that's got to be better than the utterly horrific situation should someone release either a dirty bomb or should someone contaminate a water supply. That's going to be a lot, but that requires a lot more organisation. That would be the nightmare threat. That would be the worst case scenario. But what's the answer? What do you think is the answer? If you like these videos, do hit the like and subscribe buttons. It's not going to be a politically based rant very often. I wouldn't consider that a political rant. It's more the what do we do situation. I don't know. It's just, is it an inevitable cost of our freedom? But all I can say, what these people need, they need some more motorcycles in their life and soon forget about killing each other and blowing people up if they realise how much fun it was to live as opposed to die. Hit the like and subscribe buttons, and we'll see you soon.